What's going on, good people? Just like I told you, eventually, especially during a 2-week period, all types of things come out. This has been coming out. So I want to send a big shout out to those popping up in the live chat right now. I see we got Wildcat, Mary, Beanie, and then who do we have? I guess since we don't have another family member right there in the live chat, Dewey will be third. Dewey will be third on the podium. Dreads takes a third. Dreads takes third. Dewey is our unofficial third. Dewey, you need to join a family member for sure. And let's get into here. Big shout out to everybody, though. Huey, Dewey, Dreads, Wildcat, Mary, Beanie. Yo, we got a guy. Listen, Lance Stroll is out here. I'm not gonna discredit or criticize him for believing in yourself. You got to believe in yourself. In any sport, as an athlete, you should believe that you can go out here on the field, on the track, on the court, and you should feel in yourself that I am a winner. I can perform. Nobody's going to beat me. But let's just be clear. That is all a mental fortitude preparation thing. That's not realistic physically. You have to know where you stand in your competition, but you have to believe in yourself if you're going to continue to push yourself to be better, that one day you might be better than anybody on that field, that court, that track. So I'm not mad at that. But we all know Lance Stroll is a subpar driver in comparison to the drivers on the grid. There are rookies that I would take over Lance Stroll. Okay. There are drivers that have only been in Formula One for 4 seasons that I would take over Lance Stroll. I would take Hadjar over Lance Stroll. No cap. I'm being dead serious. I'm taking Hadjar over Lance Stroll. I'm taking Nick DeVries, who hasn't even had an opportunity to get a good season of real driving in Formula One. I'm taking him over Lance Stroll. I'm being straight up. I'm taking Yuki over Lance Stroll. Shit, who else am I taking over Lance? I'm taking Antonelli over Lance Stroll. I'm taking Oliver Bearman over Lance Stroll. I'm taking Bortoletto over Lance Stroll. There are so many drivers that I am taking over Lance Stroll. It is quite damn ridiculously funny. But you don't want to know what's even more funny? What's even more funny is Lance Stroll's communication over this past weekend. And we just got to look at it. We just got to take a look at this. Okay, just take a look at this shit. Lance Stroll, radio engineer, says, okay, Lance, crazy car to drive, amazing finish. Shit, I mean, every damn car was crazy to drive in the British GP. The weather conditions were hella challenging. It's not only just the Aston Martin, but I get it. Lance Stroll says, crazy is an understatement. DG Big Blue in the super chat says, if I had daddy's money, I believe in myself too. I'm trying to tell you, bro. Big shout out to you putting your name in that pot for the trading cards. He says crazy is an understatement. I mean, it's the worst piece of shit I've ever driven in my life. To be honest, in your life, this is the worst car you've driven in your life. Bro, Lance, you got to cut with this shit. You got to cut with these shenanigans, bro. You got to stop it. You got to stop with the temper tantrums, getting out the car, throwing equipment. You got to stop with the temper tantrums, getting out the car, shoving mechanics, shoving engineers. You got to stop with the temper tantrums, getting out the car, injuring yourself because you probably don't want to drive anyway. You have to stop with these type of quotes. And I'm telling you right now, you got to stop. Because I got to wonder, how in the hell would the car feel about you if it could address itself so? Because the car, in any car you've probably driven, probably says, this is the worst driver I could have ever had in my mechanical life. Bro, cars are not excited when you get inside of them. Cars, women, probably at that, man. Nobody's excited. When you step on the track, nobody's excited to see what's going to happen with Lance Stroll and Aston Martin. Nobody. You know what? There is a strain of fucking memes out there about you, Lance. Your unsafe tactics, you wrecking people out, you crashing. Bro, you got to stop this, Lance. Lance has to stop with these shenanigans. You don't have to pose anymore, man. This is not the worst car or piece of shit you've driven. And if so, the car probably feels the same about you. But let's just see, what have you done in your career lately? Matter of fact, not even your career. Shit, let's just go to see what you've done, period. What you've done, period, before then, before this situation. Let's take a look at this. Lance, Alonso joined a team that you were already in 2023. He got 4th in the Drivers' Championship and 8 podiums while you were 10th with 0 podiums. And was that the worst car you've ever driven? Was that one of the worst cars you've ever driven? Because to us, that car looked pretty decent. It looked like it was going to be a championship contender until it didn't, until other teams progressed. But even while it was, you didn't do much of anything. 2024 last season, you still came in behind Alonso. 13th, 0 podiums. 9th, 0 podiums. What have you done? What has Lance Stroll been doing? What has he been doing to say these type of things that would make us legitimately believe, you know what, Lance? You know what? You're right, man. It is the car. That car is the reason why Lance Stroll is not great. That's the reason. It's the whole reason why Lance Stroll is not great. It's the car. It's the car, y'all. Oh, you think so? Y'all think it's the car? It ain't the car, it's Lance Stroll. He's whack. He's not good. He's not. Let me repackage that. If you're in Formula One, you have to be a good driver. You have to be a good driver. Let's just keep it a buck. You have to be a good driver. But in comparison to other drivers that have made it into Formula One, Lance Stroll, you're whack. You're completely whack. Let's face the facts. You're completely whack. So maybe you might start getting better. Maybe you need to look in the mirror at yourself and say, what do I need to do to improve? Because there's a lot of damn things that you could do to improve. I'm telling you right now. Lance Stroll, your entire stint in Formula One, you have never been higher than 10th position. And 2023, wow, the best season, while y'all have one of those good cars, that's when you happen. You've not been higher than 10th any time in your career. So I'm just saying, bro, you were 18th in 2018. Is this car worse than the car you were driving in 2018? I just got to know. I got to know if this car is worse than the car you was driving in 2018. I got to know. You did pretty bad then. And then when you was with Tracing Point, I mean, y'all literally copied a championship running Mercedes. You got the name Tracing Point, Lance. And even then, you had collisions, you had accidents, and sir, you didn't finish any higher than 3rd. You got 1 podium in 2020, Mr. Tracing Point. You got 1 podium in 2020. While it's copying 2 podiums, 2 podiums in 2020, which is one of the few podiums you got in your career. Lance, this is crazy out here, man. This is crazy out here for you to be talking like this. Your career, while it's you having decent machinery and plenty of support from your dad, from the team, bro, you have been out here running amok of foolery. You've been out here with these shenanigans, bro. You listen, it's already bad enough. It's already bad when somebody who is a top performing driver on a top performing team says something like this. People kind of say, well, damn, was it? Because you get the benefit of the doubt being a top performing driver and on a top performing team. You kind of say, hey, if the driver says it was a piece of shit, maybe the setup was bad. Some things were going wrong. They did a bad update. Lance, nobody is thinking that when you say this. I don't think anybody's thinking that when you say, and I'm feeling pretty confident to say nobody. And I shouldn't say it because if it's 1 or 2 people, it's not nobody. But I'm pretty sure majority of the world, Miss Dino, his face is annoying, just as Deverday's voice is annoying. You ain't lying, Miss Dino. I dislike looking at Lance Stroll just as much as I don't like hearing Devernay's voice when he's commentating. Listen, the British GP, thank you, God. Thank you, God, that Devernay was not there talking for the GP this past weekend. It would have been absolutely horrible. I literally put shit on mute. I literally muted. I'm just saying, I muted. So I feel you, Miss Dino. I'm with you on that. But a lot of people are not thinking this. So, Lance, when you come across the radio and say this, we're thinking that it's just you being you. Meanwhile, I'm starting to wonder what really is going to take place with Aston Martin, because Alonso's not happy right now. Alonso's not happy. He's sitting he's not like he's far behind Lance Stroll. He's only 4 points behind Lance Stroll in the Drivers' Championship standings. It's not like he's far behind. I don't think it's going to stay that way. I still think Alonso will finish in front of Lance Stroll by the time the end of the season comes. That's just how I feel. I think Alonso will eventually surpass Lance Stroll when the time comes. But Alonso voiced some displeasure with the team this past weekend too. He thought it was kind of odd how they always get his tire and the strategies wrong when it comes to him. And trust me, Mr. Salty Balls is not the person I always want to jump and say, hey, you know what? Alonso probably right. But Alonso's probably right. I'm just telling you, Alonso's probably right in this situation. And we've seen it more than enough. Well, what the hell is going on? I'm just keeping it a buck. I'm wondering if there's going to be a problem with Alonso staying with Aston Martin. And I know he's going to stay until next season. Alonso's not going to go anywhere. He's not going to go anywhere until he gets the opportunity to drive a car that is completely developed and engineered by Adrian Newey. He's not going to do it. That is if any moment, this is going to be his moment since his last moments, which is damn near 3 decades ago, and I'm exaggerating, but his last moments since he's been able to even taste the idea and thought of, can I win another championship? I don't see him going anywhere until he gets that opportunity. All right? He's going to stay until then. But after that, I wonder what happens then. I do wonder what happens for Alonso and Aston Martin when that time comes. Because listen, let me tell you something. As you get closer and closer to the end of your career, just as Lewis Hamilton is, this is the same dynamic for Lewis Hamilton. You're not willing to take as much of a gamble as much as you can help on your career and your ability to win. Ferrari, whatever they told Lewis, I'm telling you, they've come up short. Whatever Ferrari told Lewis when they sat down and said, hey, buddy, listen, we got this, and we got this coming in. Let me tell you how it's going to be. It's going to be phenomenal. They've missed the target. They're not, you got the target, the bullseye, you got the next ring, then you got the outside of the target. They are on the outside of the target, not even hitting it. Just this last couple of races, I think we're starting to say, okay, now they're on the target somewhere. And we still need Spa I still need Spa. I won't speak for you. I'll speak for myself. We still need Spa to show that. But when it comes to Aston Martin, Alonso went here because he thought this was going to be the best opportunity for him to perform. He jumped ship at Alpine through the window like that. Aston, I'm telling you, come 2026, I think if shit's not looking good and it's looking very questionable, I don't think anybody else would bring Alonso on. I think he's going to miss that Cadillac train. I think Alonso might end up being out of Formula One by time 2020, by the end of Mac's contract. I think Alonso's probably retiring from Formula One. Unless Aston Martin is heavily competing at the front. And when I mean heavily, I mean third, fourth. Constructors. Alonso, more than 8 podiums since his 2023 debut. I think he's going to retire. And I don't know why there's not more campaign for him to retire than there is Lewis Hamilton. No, I do know why. I know why there's more campaign for Lewis Hamilton to retire than Alonso, because a bunch of racist ass motherfuckers out here and a bunch of people that don't like seeing a black man be the head of Formula One. And a lot of people don't like seeing somebody who is regarded and embraced as much as they are. The hate is because they admire and they love what he's doing. They just don't like the image of who's doing it. So that's why you got more campaign for Lewis than you got for Alonso getting out of the sport. Plus, who's Alonso right now? Who's Alonso right now? Really nobody. He's not really nobody. People don't really worry about nobodies. They don't really worry about nobodies. Every now and then they address nobodies and they say, hey, I see you nobody every now and then, but they don't really worry about nobodies. Same as me. People out here say plenty of things about Wolfpack. Say a lot of things about me. People out here make content about me. And then they beg me to watch their content. But guess what? They just nobodies. They're not even really on the map. They're not on the map. It's the same thing with Alonso. What does Alonso do to get attention? He mentions Lewis Hamilton, or he says something about Max Verstappen in regard to Lewis Hamilton. Anytime you want to get a headline, you say something about Lewis. You say something that Max is better than Lewis. You say something that has to be with Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton's at the center of it. Everything else is just everything. That's the only real time Alonso really matters. And he's looking to matter again. He wants anybody who's been a champion at some level wants to be a champion again. You want to be a champion again. It's just sometimes it doesn't happen. And Alonso, with his 2 championships, he wants it again. I just don't think he's ever going to get it again. I think most of us, even if you don't like Lewis Hamilton, feel that there is still a ray of hope that he actually might get another championship while he's been cheated out of 2 of them that he should. Well, actually 3. 3 championships he's been cheated out of, for sure. I would say 2 he's been cheated out of, and 1 of them was really kind of suspect with some failure situations that happened. I'll say that. But 2 he's definitely been cheated out of. He got cheated out with that BMW illegal fuel shit that should have been penalized, which would have changed the turn of events, and 2021 for sure. So technically, debatably, Lewis Hamilton should be a 9-time world champion by now. And some people would say more, but I'm just saying these are clearly debatable situations where you can say, yeah, they didn't do their job. They didn't do their job with the illegal fuel situation, and they didn't do their job with the situation that happened in Abu Dhabi 2021. Guaranteed, that right there, clearly, easily debatable, Lewis Hamilton, a 9-time world champion. But right now, I think many people feel if Ferrari get this car right and they actually can make something happen, not this season, I think this season's done. You got 12 racing events to make something happen. And I'm telling you right now, McLaren ain't no chumps. Oscar Piastri ain't no chump. Lando in a good car can have the sunshine on his ass like a dog laying out there in the summer sun. This season is done for Ferrari to come back and try to do anything in regards to a driver's championship, in my opinion. I won't say not anything, but a constructor's championship, I don't think it's going to happen. But a driver's championship, we talking about far and few between if you can find the Tooth Fairy and the damn Santa Claus in the same place to ask them both for something to happen. We are talking about 130 plus points between Lewis Hamilton and Oscar Piastri. We are talking about we're talking about 115 points. It's just too much. It's too much. 115 points between Leclerc and Oscar Piastri. That's way too much, okay? It's way too much. Even if you were to win every race, you need to win every race, and they would need to get no points in any of the races for something like that to happen. It's not happening for Ferrari this season. And a lot of people are going to question Aston Martin in 2026, right? You're going to question that. So it's a huge regulation change, but you do have upside, but it's a huge regulation change. And I just really want to ask Aston Martin. I want to ask your mechanics. I want to ask your engineers. I want to ask your aerodynamicists. I want to ask your fans. I want to ask your publicists, your marketing team. I want to ask anybody, your shipping and receiving department at Aston Martin. How do you feel clocking in every workday, knowing that no matter how awesome you do your job, no matter how great you put this car together, no matter how good you are at fixing this car when it's wrecked, no matter how awesome you are at designing and in the laminate shop, I just got to ask y'all something. How do you feel about your intentions and your work being shat on by the point of having Lance Stroll still driving another car, because that's your bottleneck. That's your ceiling. Lance Stroll is your ceiling. How do you feel looking at Lawrence Stroll in meetings and company functions? How do you feel looking at Lawrence Stroll be like, man, this motherfucker, he's going to keep us from being the best that we can be as a team because of this guy, his son. How do you feel about that? I mean, that's got to make you feel, that would make me feel like, what am I doing? What am I doing here? I would be looking to go somewhere else. Because I know no matter how great I do my job, this guy is going to limit the greatness that we can achieve. I'm ready to go. I'm leaving. I'm dipping. I can't be here. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here knowing that no matter how good I do, it's always going to be limited because of you allowing your son to occupy the other seat. It just ain't happening. So, as I said, when we come to talking about people saying things like this, it's the worst piece of shit I've ever driven in my life. For you to even say that a Formula One car is the worst piece of shit you've ever driven in your life, that is a very bold statement. Mechanic Mercedes in the super chat says, Lance Stroll F1 P18 go. Facts, bro. Facts. And I'm trying to tell you, P18 GOAT. Matter of fact, what's the record that Lance Stroll has? Doesn't he have the record for the most Q1 exits? Does Lance Stroll not hold the record for the most Q1 exits? I believe that's true. I believe the driver that's gone out in qualifying session 1 is Lance Stroll. That's one of the worst records you can have in Formula One. That's one of the worst records that you can have in Formula One. That's crazy. That is crazy. Like, dude, you're literally subpar in comparison to your fellow competitors. You really don't need to be talking like this. You really don't need to be saying things like this, because what you're telling your team is you suck. Your engineers, you suck. Your mechanics, you suck. My pit wall, you suck. You're telling them they suck. How do you think they feel about you? Mary Beanie says 82 Q1 exits. 82 Q1 exits? Hell no. Hold on, man. He got 82 Q1 exits. This is the dude saying what he's saying. He got 82 Q1 exits. Meanwhile, you only have 312 points in your entire career. You got 1 pole position in your entire career. You got 3 podiums in your entire career. And you got 82 Q1 exits. Oh my gosh. They should tape these stats in Lance Stroll's cockpit. They should tape these stats on his mirror. They should tape these stats in his race room, so that when he gets up, gets dressed, and gets in that car, remember what you've done. Remember what you've done in Formula One before you go telling us that we ain't shit by saying this is the worst piece of shit you've driven. I think you should do that. I think Lance, I think that's something that you should consider. Because when you go talking like this, that's bad. This is bad coming from you. I mean, it's not a warm, fuzzy feeling coming from anybody, but it's bad coming from you. I got to look it up and make sure that it's 82. And actually, it's 75 Q1 exits. Lance Stroll, it says 75 Q1 exits at this point in time, and maybe we've added since then. But it looks like it's 75 Q1 exits, and maybe since then we've added since that 75. And so now it's 82, as Mary Beanie said. But either way it goes, 75 or 82, that's a lot, buddy. That's a lot for somebody talking big shit like you was just talking. That's a lot. It's a lot from somebody who was in a good car where Alonso got 8 podiums in the season and you still didn't get not damn 1. That's a lot. So I need Lance Stroll to shut your mouth a bit more. I need you to work and be a team player. And I need you to even decide if you really want to be in Formula One. Because if not, we need you to go beg and plead with your dad to let you out of your contract. We need you to beg and plead with your dad to start letting Felipe Drugovich drive this car. We need you to do that so that we can at least see another talent that deserves an opportunity in Formula One actually get it. Because a lot of us don't think that you're deserving anymore. Just keeping it a buck, all right? So, Lance Stroll, shut the hell up. Just shut the hell up. When it comes to saying things like this, don't say stuff like this anymore. Don't say anything like this anymore. Just say something else. Say something positive. You could have said, hey, we got P7. Hey, I appreciate you all trying your best. Maybe next go. Maybe next go. That would be better for you to say. I think that would come off a lot better, and it would be more productive. All right. That would be one of the productive things that you could do as a driver in Aston Martin. All right. Because you're sure not no damn winner. But hey, anything can happen. Anything can happen. While you got podiums, and Nico was able to muster out his first podium, I would say that anything can happen, and maybe one day you do win a race, right? Maybe one day Lance Stroll does win a race. Because if Nico, all this time being in Formula One, I mean, Nico's been in Formula One for 15 seasons, and he just got his first podium ever. And it was third place in inclement conditions. And, you know, it happens. But yes, he's got one podium in his life. And he's been racing for 15 seasons. All right, 15 seasons, one pole position, 2 fastest laps, and 1 podium. So maybe one day Lance Stroll will win a race. I'm not going to say never. I'm going to say you never know. Anything can happen. Took 15 years for Nico to get a podium. He still don't have a race win. And it was third place. And big shout out, Oscar Piastri is a dog, even in the press conference. Why did Oscar have to say, how does it feel to have a trophy made out of Lego that you can literally take apart? And you know what I got from that? What I took from that was you got to be careful with Oscar Piastri, because Oscar Piastri can do, you don't know if y'all are familiar with battle rap, but double and triple entendres is basically like you say one thing, but it could mean 2 different things and 3 different things type situations. They do all types of crafty things like that. What if Oscar Piastri asking that question was him just saying, because you know he was hot about those extra points. What if that was Oscar Piastri saying, how do you feel about getting a podium that literally could be debated that you didn't really earn that? You know, because of the treacherous situations on track and everything that happened on track and the 5 umpteen retirements and the safety cars and the VSC, you know, we could really pick apart your first podium ever in your career of 15 seasons in Formula One. I'm just saying, you got to be careful with Oscar Piastri. He a dog out here. When he says something, you know, it's like one of those things, you know, somebody don't talk much, and when they finally say something, it's like, better pay attention to that. Or somebody that's really quiet and you really mess with them, people like, you might want to not mess with them. It was just I kind of felt like it might have had a dual meaning right there in the press conference, because Oscar Piastri says a lot of cunning, kind of crafty stuff. You know, real championship driving, that one. Max Verstappen. I mean, it's just coming from Oscar, you just got to kind of think about it. Mechanic Mercedes in the super chat and putting his hand in there for the Formula One trading cards again. There you go, bro. There you go. Let me see. He says Lance Stroll will win a race 2 days before Jesus comes. Not 2 days before Jesus comes. And I agree with Oscar's behavior. Nico take cheap shots at Lewis all the time. Bro, big shout out. For real. Bro, you always coming with some bars, though. Bar dropping. Hey, I'm just saying, man, I agree. It's like you can literally pick that shit apart, man. But, hey, y'all let me know what y'all feel. Miss Dino, still get with me. I think we're still trying to work and see about getting you in there. I sent you something on that to see if you could check your email. Remember, people, if you're gonna join the Wolfpack fam and the Discord, the Gmail that you use for your YouTube membership needs to match your Discord membership when you start it, so that those will tie together and link. All right. Just to let you all know, I don't know if that's going to be what we find, but I'm still working with Miss Dino to try to make sure we can get her in there, especially before the next race comes up in Spa. Would like to see her in the Discord Wolves Den to hear how she feels about everything that's going on, just like I like to hear how y'all feel about everything going on. And with that being said, the Leon's son, the mechanic Mercedes, when Kenny says 2 days before Jesus come, Leon says Jesus ain't gonna help him. He can't be helped. Jesus ain't gonna even waste his time. Jesus will waste his time, will spend his time turning wine from water, but he ain't gonna waste his time trying to take Lance Stroll from a loser to a winner. Just ain't worth it. There's other people out there more deserving. And with that being said, Wolfpack out. Peace.